Now in this video I'm going to show you guys how you can use supply and demand to easily tell the direction of the market. Now if you're already into like the marketing or business space, you already know the word demand and supply. But what is really supply and demand in the market? Now supply is actually when someone gives another person something of value that they actually paid for, and demand is actually when someone looking for something specific in value. Now we need to understand this. Whenever there is a supply, there is obviously a demand, but whenever there is a demand, there is not always a supply. Now this actually brings us to one point: scarcity. Now whenever there's a scarcity of a product, the value or the price of that product will actually increase or appreciate. Now let me use this for example. Now I know at some point we've already experienced petrol scarcity. So now whenever petrol gets scarce, what happens to the price of petrol? You'll find out that gas stations will actually be selling petrol for a higher price. Now there's a demand in petrol, but there's no enough suppliers of petrol. Now let me use this other thing for example. Let's say water. Now water is almost everywhere. It's one of the most abundant things on earth. Literally 70% of the earth is made up of water and 30% is land. Now there's a reason why 1 gallon of water is not equal to 1 gallon of petrol. You could see how scarcity actually plays a role. Or let me put it this way: whenever there's actually a lot of supply, the value of that thing actually decreases. Now this is exactly what we use here whenever we're talking about demand and supply, in the market. Now in the market, this is actually called supply and this is actually called demand. Now you might be wondering, why is it actually called supply and demand? Now supply in the sense of abundance. Now if you remember what we said, whenever there's actually excess supply of something, what will happen to the value of that thing? The value of it will actually go down. So this is exactly what it is. This is where excess supply actually happens. So what will happen to the value? This right here is the value. What will happen to the value? The value will actually go down. Now this point right here is actually called the demand zone. If you remember what we said about scarcity, whenever something is actually scarce, what happens to the value of that thing? The value of that product or service or wherever it is will actually go up. So this is exactly what we mean. The value of that thing actually goes up. So this is how this word actually came about. So now we've known about supply and demand, how are we going to be able to use this to know the direction of the market? Now in case you don't know, supply and demand actually makes up a trend and a consolidation. Now this supply and demand can also called support and resistance, in which supply is actually resistance and demand is obviously support. I don't know if you guys are wondering why my voice is like this. I actually have a cold, so yeah, that's actually what it is. Now if you all know one thing about the market actually moves in this format. Whenever the market is going up, it actually moves up like this, and whenever the market is going down, it actually moves down like this. Now one thing I want to state here is that whenever you see price forming like a lower low, it's coming to retest back where this where it first made this lower high. Now I didn't draw this perfectly, but try to get what I'm trying to say. It's obviously trying to come back to the place where it once left before. So it's just like this staircase of a thing. It builds off another and it builds off another. So that's how it actually forms the trend. It's not always as perfect like this, but one thing you definitely notice that price trying to retest the point where it last left. So this is also something you need to watch out for. Now in terms of everything with supply and demand, support, resistance, I'm going to show you guys the normal manual way that you can actually do this, and I'm going to show you another good way that I can do this, and I'm also going to show you the top level way of doing this. So in this point, like the top level way, this is obviously like it draws in support and resistance for you, and I'm going to show you guys everything about that. Now just to prove everything that I just said, let me show you guys how this actually works on the chart. Now we could see this point right here. Price was obviously going on a downtrend. Now let's notice something here. Now when price came down, price obviously came back to retest this point right here. Let me show you guys. Price was retesting this point together with this point. You can see this type of correlation in the market. Now if you also check this point right here, where did price obviously come to retest? It came to retest this point right here. Let me show you guys. You can see that price is obviously doing the same thing. You can see there's a correlation between this point right here. Now this is to show that price obviously go back to retest points it obviously left before. Now if I go ahead and try to scroll back, we could see that there's obviously an existence of this point right here. Now if I try to drag this, we could see that it's still relating. Now Now this is trying to show us that price go back to retest points that it has already left before. Now there's one thing lacking in the trading community: fun. Now as traders, we are always to ourselves. Whether we take an L or a W, we mostly keep that to ourselves. Now by the end of this year, I would love to spice things up by throwing the world trading competition. Now this will involve traders from Asia, Australia, Africa, North and South America and Europe to compete to see where the best traders are from and to win awesome prizes. Now in order for us to place trades in the day of that competition, we'll need a broker, and for this type of tax I can only trust Vantage Markets with this. So I asked Vantage Markets what will it take to provide trading accounts on the day of the world trading competition, and they said we'll need to hit 200,000 subscribers for all this to be possible. So do definitely hit the red subscribe button so we can hit 200k quick and make this a reality. Now if you want to be one of the contestants to represent your country and your continent in the day of that competition, we are obviously looking for the best, so you have to show us your day trading skills. Now in order for you to do this, you need to click the link in the description of this video or Vantage FX, create a normal trading account, deposit into your account, and if you're actually the person that has the most gain in your country and your continent at large, you'll be the one to represent them. So you can go ahead and do that to the end of this year, and don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so that we can get to 200k quick. Now one of the easiest way to find the key levels, supply and demand zone, support resistance, call it whatever, is Fibonacci retracement tool. Now in order for you to get that, what you need to do is to come to this section right here and search for Fibonacci retracement. So now let me explain the Fibonacci retracement tool for you guys. Now the Fibonacci retracement tool is for retracement in the market. Now as you can see this line here, this is obviously a retracement line, a retracement line, a retracement line. So as price goes up, we'll see how price obviously reacts to that line. Now even as good as how the Fibonacci retracement is, the main part of it is actually drawing it to find those points of key level in the market. In order for you to draw Fibonacci retracement, well, you need to draw from the beginning of the other side of the market trend. So let me show you guys right here. Instead of me talking, I feel like let me show everything I'm saying. Now where's the beginning of this trend? The beginning of the trend is this part right here. This is obviously the beginning of the trend. So what we have to do is that we have to draw in our Fibonacci retracement tool right here. Start from this part right here and draw it to the current place where the market is, which is obviously this point right here. Now let's go back and check what was happening in the market. The Fibonacci retracement showed us that this point is obviously a key level, and price, as you can see, price obviously reacted to it. Now this point right here, still the same thing, price was reacting to it. You could see again, this point right here, market was reacting to it. Another thing again, this point right here, market was reacting to it. Does it end here? So let's continue. This is obviously the beginning of the trend, and obviously we could not see any points where price was reacting to it. So we could see right here the Fibonacci retracement is obviously giving us those points of key level in the market. Now when next we actually look at the Fibonacci retracement tool, where do we think that the market is obviously going to get to? Is to this point right here. And if price reacts to it, is either two things that can happen. Is either the market actually goes up and says it wants to continue with the trend in the market, or either the market, you know, continue to go down. And as the market goes down, this actually helps us further, because we could obviously see those points of retracement as we go. You could see a point of retracement, a point of retracement, a point of retracement. Now let's go into another time frame and another scenario so I can show you guys really how to, you know, place this Fibonacci retracement tool. Now as you can see, I'm in GBP USD on the 5-minute time frame, and this is actually the current state of the market. Now if we're to place in our Fibonacci retracement tool, how are we going to place it in this type of market? Now when you're in this part of the market, what you need to do is to look at the left hand side of the market. Now you want to go back to see what has already happened before. You want to go back to see when was the beginning of the trend of the left hand side. Now once you've already seen like the beginning of the trend, which is this point right here, so what we're going to do right here is that we're going to start in from the point where the market actually began the trend. So we're going to grab into the Fibonacci retracement tool, which is this point right here. So we just start from the middle part right here and drag it to the recent high of the market. That's what we're going to do. We're going to drag it to the recent high of the market, and this point right here is obviously the recent part of the market. Now as you can see, we've already drawn in our Fibonacci retracement tool. Now this right here will obviously give us points of key level in the market, points of supply and demand in the market, points of supply and resistance, whatever you call it. Now to show us that this is actually a true point of key level, we can see this part right here, market was reacting to this point. If you look at this part right here, market was reacting to this point. Now if you look at this other side again in the market, you can see still the same thing. these have obviously given us those points of key level in the market. Now I've already explained like the first way of finding support and resistance, or supply and demand, and I've already showed you now just the second way of doing it by using the Fibonacci retracement tool that can obviously show you this point of key level. But what about if we put in the Fibonacci retracement and the Fibonacci retracement obviously draws itself? It obviously marks, you know, those points of retracement in the market. Now for this you'll be needing TradingView, so you can go ahead and download TradingView on the mobile app, on the Play Store, on the App Store. Now what you want to do right here is that you want to go to the indicator part of TradingView, and what you want to search in is signal table. And yes, we've already seen it right here, signal table, auto fib, SMA, EMA, RSI. Just go ahead and tap that in. Now once you've already tapped that in, it comes with something like this. Now what you want to do is that you want to go to the settings right here. You can go to the style, which is this style. Now what you want to do is that you want to turn off the tables, and since you're not using like the moving averages on this one, what we can do is that we can go ahead and close in the EMAs, tap into the show fib retracement. What this does right here is that it obviously plots out Fibonacci retracement for you. There's no need to start dragging Fibonacci retracement to dragging this, dragging that. This obviously goes ahead and plot in everything that you need. Now if you also want this with the moving average, you can just go ahead and tap this in with the moving average, and you obviously have the Fibonacci retracement together with the moving average. Like, this is mind-blowing. So what you can do, since we're focusing on like the Fibonacci, I'll just go ahead and turn off the moving average. Now just as we said, what the Fibonacci does is that it helps us to find those points of key level in the market. So now I'm talking to you guys, I'm already in this Euro AED trade right now. I think this is like a spoiler for the next video, but I'm currently in Euro AED, and I think I kept my take profit at this point right here. Kept my take profit at this point right here, and price is almost getting close to, you know, my take profit. So what this does is that it automatically draws in this Fibonacci retracement line for you. Now how this works is that it doesn't draw everything all through, you know, it doesn't draw everything all through like the way if you're trying to use like the Fibonacci retracement tool and draw it in. It doesn't give you those points ahead, but what this does is that mainly it breaks this first Fibonacci line, it draws in another Fibonacci line. So that's exactly how this one works. So that's actually one thing to note. Now for watching this video to the very end, I want to give you guys something special. Now this right here is a code that you can input on the mentorship website, and you obviously get 15% off. Now this code right here is obviously available for the next 5 days. So once it's already 5 days, it goes ahead and expires. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.